so we are continuing on with our solving equations notes, and we are looking at multiplying equations or starting equations in order to eliminate. Now in example 5a and b we looked at where we had to multiply one of our equations. Now we are going to move down to example c and d where it gets slightly more complicated still. So if we look at our two equations, if you can copy them down, we've got 2a plus 5b equals 3. That's going to be equation 1. And 3a minus 4b equals 16. That's going to be equation 2. Now, if you look at the variables, if you look at your a's and your b's, and you look at the numbers, the coefficients, you may have spotted the problem. There is no number, integer, that I can multiply either by, which is going to get the a's to be the same number, either positive or negative, or the b's to be the same number, either positive or negative. So actually, I'm not just going to have to multiply one of these equations, I'm actually going to have to multiply both of them. So I'm starting with equation 1 and 2, and I'm going to produce equation 3 and equation 4 in a second. Now, you have the choice here, really, to decide which are you going to match up. Are you going to match up the a's, or are you going to match up the b's? Now, what we're looking here for is for the lowest common multiple. Okay, the lowest number that these numbers can go into, either the numbers in front of the a's or the numbers in front of the b's. So if we think about the numbers 2 and 3, the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is going to be 6. So I know that if I multiply 2 by 3 and 3 by 2, they will both give me an answer of 6. So that is probably my easiest option, this first one. Another option though, if we were looking for our b's, our lowest common multiple of 5 and 4 is going to be 20. So actually, if I multiplied 5 by 4, it would give me plus 20b. If I multiplied minus 4 by 5, it's going to give me minus 20. And I could cancel out, eliminate the b's. But that's kind of making our numbers bigger. So we want to try and keep those multiplications as low as possible. So in order to match up the a's to have the same number in front, we're going to have to multiply each of them to get up to 6a. So we want both of these to be 6a. So in order to get the first equation to have 6a, I'm going to have to get equation 1 and multiply it by 3. That is going to produce 6a plus 15b equals 9. Now remember, you are multiplying every term in that equation by 3. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is that they do the 6a bit and then they leave 5b and 3. No, you are multiplying everything by 3. And this is now equation 3. I now need to take my equation 2, and in order to get equation 2, this to be 6a, I need to multiply it by 2. So multiply everything on this equation by 2, and that's going to give me 6a, and that's going to give me minus 8b, and it's going to give me equal to 32. That is now equation number 4. Okay, it seems complicated because there's lots of numbers going on here, but really we're back to the first question we did, where now we have two variables that have the same number in front that we are able to now eliminate. Now, it's the a's that we're going to eliminate, they've got the same sign, so if it's the same sign, we subtract them. So we're going to take the bigger one, the bigger number, and subtract the smaller one. So we're going to do 4, take away 3. Okay, equation 4, take away equation 3. So what this is going to produce, if we do 6a minus 6a, that's going to be eliminated, it's going to equal 0. Minus 8b minus 15b, that's maybe a bit trickier doing it that way actually, but it will still work out. Minus 8 take away 15, that's going to be minus 23b. And we're going to have 32 minus 9, which is going to be 23. So even though that looks like a complicated, equation, because they're both, 23, then it actually isn't too bad. So if I now divide by minus 23, I'll get b equals minus 1. So that's not actually too bad. B equals minus 1, that's the first part done, and that's most of the hard work done. Now we're kind of following our normal process, if we can now substitute b equals minus 1 into, choose the easiest one out of those four. Easiest one is probably going to be that first equation. So sub b equals minus 1 into equation 1. So that is going to be 2a plus 5b equals 3. So it's going to be 2a plus 5 times minus 1 equals 3. 2a minus 5 equals 3. If we add 5 to both sides, 2a then equals 8, which means a equals 4. So I now have my two solutions here. I've got a equals 4 and b equals minus 1. Okay, so just to recap what we did, because there was no way that we could get the a's, these a's, this a or this b to match up with the top a or b and vice versa. There wasn't any way that we could get those numbers to match, so that's why we had to multiply both of the equations. So this is kind of where we're heading to, and this is the most difficult it's going to get really, is multiplying both equations to produce equation 3 and 4 and then doing the elimination. So let's practice this again in example D. We've got 2x plus 5y equals minus 9, which is equation 1. And we've got 5x minus 3y equals 24, which is equation 2. Now, again, we have the same problem. There's nothing I can multiply 2 by to get to 5, 5 by to get to 2 obviously, and the same for the y's. So you're again going to look for the lowest common multiple. Now you have the choice. What would be maybe the obvious choice to do would be to get these both to 10x. So I can multiply the top one by 5 and I can multiply the bottom one by 2. But just for the sake of variation, I'm going to try and match up these bottom ones and showing you how it works with the difference of sign, just for the sake of variation. So I could get this to a plus 15, and I could get by multiplying by 3, and I could get this to a minus 15. Why? By multiplying by 5. So if I've got plus 15 and minus 15, I can then eliminate those. So let's do that just to show you a different option. So in order to get that to plus 15, I'm going to have to multiply it by 3. So everything in equation 1 is going to need to be multiplied by 3. So write what you've got left. 2x times 3, 6x, plus 5y times 3, plus 15y, and minus 9 times 3, minus 27. That's equation 3. Now equation number 2, to get that to minus 15y, I'm going to have to multiply it by 5. So 5x times 5 becomes 25x. Minus 3y times 5 becomes my minus 15y that I need to eliminate. And 24 times 5, eek, that's a bit of a big number. 24 times 5, well, 20 times 5 is 100. 4 times 5 is 20, so it's 120 for equation 4. Okay, so now you look at the things that you're trying to eliminate. So if I can highlight these again, I'm trying to eliminate these right here. Okay, my plus 15y and my minus 15y. So now I need to make my decision. Do I add them or do I subtract them? Well, they are the different sign, and the different sign means that you need to add them to eliminate it, right? And if you're still not too sure about that, you can just do working at the side. 15 add 15, 15 add minus 15, and 15 take away minus 15. With this bottom one, 15 minus 15, that's 15 plus 15, that's 30. That's 15 take away 15, that's 0. Right, so I know I've just done a wee proof. I know I definitely need to add. Okay, so that's just a wee check. Don't be afraid to do that little check if it helps you. So we're going to add these together. So I'm going to add 3 plus 4. Okay, so 25x plus 6x, or 6x plus 25x, is 31x. 15y plus minus 15y is eliminated. Minus 27 add 120. That is the same as 120 take away 27. Okay, so that's going to be 93. So 31x equals 93. It's not actually that complicated because that does divide into that relatively easily. It is just 3. So x equals 3. So that, even though the numbers may be big, it should always be quite a simple equation to solve. It should always be a relatively small number, and it will never be a decimal number. It should never be a fraction. So just make sure if it's something that doesn't go in exactly, it's probably a mistake that's been made further up here with one of your multiplication. X equals 3 is the first solution, and we're going to sub that into our easiest equation. What is our easiest one? Well, we'll stick to equation 1 because that's all positive. So 2x plus 5y equals minus 9. Equation x equals 3, sorry, so 2 times 3 plus 5y equals minus 9. That's going to be 6 plus 5y equals minus 9. Take away 6. 5y equals minus 15. Again, this next variable should give me a whole number answer. If you're getting a decimal answer or a fraction, you've probably made a mistake somewhere substituting it in. So be careful, go back and check. 5y equals minus 15, so y divided by 5, y equals minus 3. So my two solutions this time, x equals 3, y equals minus 3.